Hi there, folks, and welcome to this week's Work Solutions to the Daily Rigour issue number 130. So, we're being foretold of rail fare prices to rise by 3.1% in January. And actually, as you can see from the graph, if you compare it to the rate of earnings rising, it's quite a high wage rise. But anyway, we have to write this figure as a fraction and a decimal. So let's do a fraction first of all. 3.1% means 3.1 out of 100, but we should always give a fraction in its simplest form, and that means with the smallest whole number that you can make is the numerator. So what we can do is we can turn 3.1 into 31 by multiplying by 10. But to create the equivalent fraction, we've also got to multiply the bottom by 10 as well, so that becomes 1,000. And 31 over 1,000 doesn't simplify because there's no number that you can divide top and bottom by other than 1. So as a fraction, it's 31 over 1,000. And we can make it a decimal by doing 3.1 divided by 100, and once you move everything down to place values, that's 0.031. Okay, so on to our entertainment story. So despite being the most expensive contestant ever, Noel Edmonds was the first to leave I'm a Celebrity. So he gets £600,000 for a fee, and we want to know how much did Noel earn per day. So it tells us that he left on Friday and he arrived in the journey a week last Thursday. So Friday, of course, if we count backwards, was 2 days ago, and that's when he left the jungle. So if we go back one day, it's Thursday, and then back another 7 days, that's a week past Thursday. So that's a week and a day he was in. So that's 8 days in total. So we divide by 8. So Noel Edmonds actually earns £75,000 per day in the jungle. Nice work if you can get it. Okay, so on to our science story. So there was a successful Mars landing, and this wee diagram here shows the years of all the other Mars landings, some of them successful, some of them partially successful, and some of them not successful at all. So Phoenix, which is this one here, it landed over here, and it landed halfway between Spirit and Curiosity in terms of years, so halfway between 2004 and 2012. So to work out the year of the landing, if you couldn't work out intuitively, you would just add the two of them together, which is 2016, and then divide by 2, and that gives us an answer of 2008. But you might have got that just by looking at the two numbers. So for Beagle 2, it's going to be a 4-digit year, and it tells us that the last digit is one more than the first digit. So it tells us that the middle two digits are the same, and the sum of the digits is less than 6. So if we had a 1 and a 2 at the start, that would mean for these numbers here, bearing in mind the first date was 1971, they would definitely have to add up to more than 6. And obviously this can't be a 3 because we're not in a busted song. So it's got to be a 2 here, and if the last digit is 1 more, then that's got to be a 3. Now, the middle two digits are the same, and the sum of all the digits add up to less than 6. So currently they add up to 5. So we can't have a 1 and a 1 here because then they'll add up to 7. So therefore they've both got to be zeros. So the year we were looking for the landing of the Phoenix was 2003. Okay, final story, on to the technology one. So we've got Frankie and Benny's offering kids to eat free if parents check in their mobile phones at the start of the meal, and that's because in a survey of 1,500 parents, we've got a quarter of them admitting to checking their phones during family meal times. So how do we work out a quarter of 1,500? Well, we divide by 4. So that's 375 parents, quite a lot in that survey size. And 23% did so while their child was talking about their day. Shocking. So how can we work out 23%? Well, a few different ways. Probably the best way is to find 1% by dividing by 100, and then after that finding 23% by multiplying by 23, and that gives us an answer of 345 parents. Okay folks, there you have it. That was our word solutions for the Daily Rigour issue number 130. We hope you got an okay with these questions, and we'll see you next week when we're looking at more stories from the news of the week and the numbers behind them. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, and bye for now.